Hello, hello. Welcome to your lunch break live. I haven't had lunch break. I want to go make me something to eat right now. We have a really awesome hour planned, so you're definitely going to want to share this broadcast. If you're coming in, share your name and where you're tuning in from. We're going to be talking about manifestation. Manifestation with Tim. Okay, that's what we're talking about today. People have been telling me I have to pin the subject so they know what we're talking about when you come in. So he's coming on in a little bit. Aaron Washington's in the house. Gio from Oakland is in the house. Who else we got in the house today? Hey, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I am so wonderful and grateful. I mean, it's definitely been a challenging time, but I just keep on grounding in gratitude, grounding in love consciousness, and just trying to keep my energy balanced. How are you doing?
Um, yeah, you know what, Koya? I spent about 10 years of my life basically not leaving the house with anxiety. So this is easy for me. This isn't a problem for me. So I'm kind of okay with being on my own and shut away.
Mhm.
And I see it as a tremendous opportunity for people, to be honest. Yeah, of course, I'd rather be in Bali, which is where I've been living, but I can't get there because I'm in the UK at the minute. So I'd rather be in Bali, yeah. But I do see that it's a tremendous opportunity for everybody, and I think it's the start of something really major on this planet as well, in terms of a mass awakening. I think we're at the beginning stages of it now. But most importantly, I think as individuals, we've got a real opportunity to create the life we want now. We've got a little bit of time. And I think if you can spot the opportunity, you're never going to get a bad chance in this. So I'm all good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And we're going to dive into that because we've talked about a lot of other things, but we haven't talked about manifestation at this time. And as you mentioned, it's an opportunity to create the life that you want to live right now. So, can you share a little bit about how someone can start right now? Alexa, turn volume to 0. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but my meditation music. But how can people in this moment start to create the life that they want to live?
Um, I think the first thing is to get aligned. You need to be aligned with who you are as a person and to understand what it is you want from life. I think so many people I meet and talk to about the law of attraction, and they say to me, Tim, I don't know what I want. And if you don't know what you want, then the universe definitely doesn't know what you want. And you can't even begin to create the life you want if you don't know. So many people are stuck because of that. And, it's not uncommon to meet people who are like 30, 40, 50, who don't know what they want to do. They've never really thought about it that much. So that's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to actually sit down and take the time, make the lists, go deep, and really think about what you want from a heart-based place as opposed to mind-based place, which is where most people are living from.
Mm.
And you've got to be honest with yourself, like brutally honest with what you want, and then realize that you've not been moving towards that for a reason, and then you've got to delve into why that reason is, which is some deeper work. But it all starts with knowing what you want first. And I always tell people, shut yourself away in a room for however long it takes and think about what you love in life, what brings you joy, and then start to think about how you can make that the center of your life. I mean, in terms of a business, really. how can you monetize it? How can you make it something you do every single day, from something that you enjoy? So that's the first and most important thing. For those people who know already what it is they want, and I think pretty much everyone knows what they really want, but they're just suppressing it. That's another story. But I think we kind of just know, but we're shut off from it, or kind of limiting beliefs are preventing us from moving towards it. But when you know what it is you want, I think the key thing is to you have to start taking some action. But manifestation is mostly about, when we talk about action, it's not really doing. It's more being. So you have to kind of get still and
Right.
start to visualize what you want. Um,
I like how you
and
said you have to get into your heart versus your mind, because I know, you know, listening to the news and listening to others and on social media, it's so easy right now to be in the mind and to let fear overtake us. But I love how you said get into the heart, because getting to the heart is the meditation, it's the yoga, it's the self-reflection that I share as well. And you have a book as well, like going within. So can we dive into that? Because it's these, what you're giving us, so many rich nuggets. I want to dive into each one. So what are some of the self-reflective questions that one can ask themselves at this time?
mhm. Self-reflective questions. Well, for me, the number one thing that people can do to become a better manifester, and it's something that they don't really want to do, but you've got to go deep within, you've got to heal. And when you do the things like you said, the yoga, the meditation, go and do those subconscious level things primarily, such as hypnotherapy, um, tapping, EFT, that kind of thing, you know, really go deep and try and work it out, what is blocking you from what you don't have. Because if, you know, if it was, there's a reason we don't have these things, right?
Right.
We know we know what kind of life we want, most of us, or at least we know what we don't want. So why are we not moving towards what we do want, or away from what we don't want? And there's a deeper layer of fear, I believe, that we've all got within us from experiences in our lives, you know, and programming, societal programming.
Absolutely. Do you have a
And
resource for the hypnotherapy? I know EFT. I have a link in my bio for EFT, the tapping solution is my favorite. They have a ton of free courses. They're giving, if you're on the front line, they're giving away the whole app for free. So if you have anxiety or you're feeling like overwhelmed from all the news, I would check that out. But do you have any hypnotherapy resources where people can check out at this time?
yeah, I've got my own one actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
just made it. Just made it a couple of weeks ago
Oh,
actually. Um,
congratulations.
I've had a lot of experience with hypnotherapy. It's really probably the number one tool that has really helped with anxiety in particular. It's had really bad social anxiety.
Mm.
I had one session of hypnotherapy and it like, changed my life, basically.
Well, I want to get a
So
dose of your hypnotherapy. And how can people sign up? Is it just a link in your bio or?
yeah, if you go to my Instagram bio, basically everything about me is in that bio.
Okay.
If you click the link there, you'll see the link tree links will all come up, and you can see we've got a free hypnosis session, which is primarily for anxiety, but it'll help build confidence, I think, in anybody. And there's a few other things in there as well. You can check out. There's a guided visualization, there's a guided meditation, a 7-step meditation, which I do with all my clients, which gets really good reviews. Out of all the things I do, the meditation is probably the big thing that I get good feedback on. So yeah, there's a few things in there as well as my book as well.
I love it. Thank you. Well, I'm definitely going to check that out. And then, okay, so after the hypnotherapy and they kind of, because I feel like you're right, releasing trauma is so important. I also think it's a lifelong process, but I feel like the more trauma you're able to release over time, the more you can align with your soul's purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
after you personally, after you start getting into hypnotherapy, how long did it take you to really feel like, okay, I kind of know what I want to do?
Um, so I mean, if we go back to that time I was talking about where I had really bad anxiety and barely left the house, I went through a big awakening basically, and it kind of forced me into deciding what I wanted to do with the rest of my life because I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And at the time I was doing some financial trading, but just really dabbling at home because I didn't want to leave the house. Basically, I had to find something that I could just do indoors on the laptop. But I always knew deep down that I wanted to be a writer, and I knew that from like the age of 6. But I didn't think I was good enough to be one. I had lots of limiting beliefs about, you can't make money doing that. You have to have certain qualifications. So there were a lot of limiting beliefs that I had to work through. But the trigger from it all was I read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You probably know it. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Most know it. It's really kind of well known. Like the original self-help book, I guess, sold millions of copies. I read that, and it kind of just gave me the belief that I could do anything that I want. I could create anything that I want because the power was within me. And so from that, I heard about the law of attraction, which I assumed that was something to do with dating, to be honest. I didn't know what that was. And then I realized what it was, and that this guy Napoleon Hill was talking about in the book, basically. But I didn't realize that until a bit later, didn't put two and two together. But when I realized there was this power that we can connect with, it gave me a lot of hope, I didn't really believe in it. It took me a couple of years before I actually fully believed in it. But I was curious because, things weren't going well for me. I knew I had to change something, and it just gave me some hope. So from that moment, I said I got to learning about the law of attraction, researching it. It was still a couple of years before I actually got to the point where I realized I need to take action. I'd done I was doing the inner work. I was learning all this new stuff about this reality, which was blowing my mind, as someone who doesn't come from a spiritual background at all, learning these things was just like, there was a lot of cognitive dissonance going on. But eventually it got to the point where it's like, what? I was doing kind of visualizations and stuff, but I realized I needed to take some action. And this is what's really important for people to know, especially in this time where you can take that action. You only need to take a small step. Take that first step. There's not lots of doing. It's more being, as I said. But the first step is to just once you're in alignment, is to move towards what you want. Just do something. With me, it was, I wanted to be a writer, didn't know how to do it, didn't have any qualifications, never been paid for writing before. What do you do? Well, for me, write. Simple as that.
Yeah, you got to
So
just do it. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is you're passionate about, you just have to put your foot out there, not be afraid to fall on your face. I mean, you're going to fall on your face in the house anyway, so at least you're a little bit safe.
Yeah. And for me, it was just start a blog, and I didn't know where it was going to go. I had not much clue about blogging, I didn't really know anything about setting up a blog. I just did it, and I thought, I'm just going to write. I didn't think anyone would necessarily be interested in what I had to say. I was talking about anxiety when I started and how I was overcoming it. And it changed later to the law of attraction, which is what I blog about now. But that one tiny little step led to me. I mean, within a month of going online with that blog, I was given an opportunity to go and live and work on a tropical island in Thailand with a mentor who I've been watching on YouTube.
Wow.
Doing what I loved.
Wow.
And I'd never had any paid writing work ever. And just because I started that blog, the universe, when you make that step and get into alignment, it gets on board and it like turbocharges everything. It's like all you need to do is take a small step. If it's in alignment, the law of attraction will get working in your favor. Like I say, within a month of going online, I'd written maybe 5 articles, and this guy got in touch with me. I think I wrote to him first, but I wasn't expecting anything.
Right.
He gave me some writing work instantly. I'd never been paid before for writing. And then a few weeks later, he offered be an opportunity to come and live with him and work with him. And that's where I met you, of course.
I know. That was perfect.
The Casa Yoga Resort.
Yes. Yes, that's where we met in Thailand. In Thailand, and it's amazing. I love your story because it just goes to show, like, you have to get out of your own way. You have to let your fears make you fierce, which is the name of my book. And I'm offering everyone, if you send me your full name and your email, I'm offering everyone a copy, a free digital copy of my book, Let Your Fears Make You Fierce, because it's not being fearless. It's letting your fears give you feedback to where you need more love. And when you did that and you put love into your writing, then you were able to move in alignment with your soul's purpose. And I feel like now we all have this purpose to really look at our fears and really dissect them and say, okay, where within myself do I need more love? Where do I need to release trauma, fear, judgment, and all those things? And now you've attracted this lifestyle, and how's it been going since then?
Amazing. I mean, it's been the best 2 years of my life by a long way. And the interesting thing is that I kind of thought, when I went out to Thailand originally, I thought, this is it. I've done all the hard work now. I'm there. I've gone through this awakening, and everything's just going to slot into place. It's going to be one upward trajectory. It's going to be perfect. And it wasn't like that at all. And I got out there and I got thrown challenge after challenge after challenge. And there were some really difficult moments in what was still a beautiful 2 years. But I always say to people and the clients that I get that transformation isn't one straight line upwards like that. It's going to go up, and then it's going to kind of drop back down again, and then you're going to go backwards a couple of paces, and it's going to go up again a little bit. And it's a constant process of growing and learning and healing.
Right.
And that's what I've been going through basically for the past 2 years. And just when I think I'm through one massive life-changing lesson that I've had to go through, another one pops up. But I've learned to realize that there's a lot of value in that, and it's a gift.
Right.
It's a gift from the universe.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of people feel like, okay, once I get over this, then I'm good, or once I get here, or once I get this amount of money, or once I get this company. But like you said, it's a continuous journey of growing and evolving, and it's like a never-ending school. It's like life school. So once you get done with one grade, you don't just graduate, you kind of just go to the next grade. You might go to a whole different school. So maybe you did the career track and you graduated that. Now you're on the relationship track. Now you're working on your relationships. There's so many places that we can grow and evolve. And I do feel like that's what our soul's here to do, is just experience. I feel like we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're seeing how our soul can evolve throughout the human experience and throughout the challenges. And we're in a very challenging time right now. And so after a person has like, okay, all right, I got it. I'm going to do the hypnotherapy, going to release my wounds, and going to do something that I've never done before. And when they're doing it and they meet resistance, because it's not smooth. You got lucky, right? It's not smooth sailing for everyone. Everyone's not going to write for 4 months and then get this, bam, in the pocket. So
1 month, correct.
What'd you say?
Carry on.
Oh, so
I think it only took me 1 month.
Oh, 1 month. I'm sorry. My bad. 1 month. 1 month. So what can people do when they're trying, but it's not going where they want? Or we're in the middle of this pandemic and it's just like, I want to do these things, but I feel like I'm limited to what I can do based on my current situation right now.
Well, most of the work's inner work, in my opinion. You can do that anyway. You don't need to go anywhere for that. So we can all, what I'm seeing around so many opportunities online. I think this is a mindset, by the way. I think there were some people who don't have the right mindset. They're too negative about it, in that they might be saying, well, there's nothing I can do. There's actually a lot you can do, but you just need to shift your mindset a little bit into, okay, where's the opportunity? There's always an opportunity. It's like in any recession, there's always people who make money, you know. It's just being able to spot the opportunity and understand what to do. And, you know, a lot of people in this time, they go inwards and contract, when actually it's a great time to expand and look outwards. And this, yeah, expand and look outwards. And there's so many opportunities I'm seeing out there, because a lot of people now are giving discounts on things like courses, and there's always something new to learn, a skill you can learn, and we can do it all online now. So there's no excuse to say that I can't do anything. You can. You just need the internet, and that's it. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really change anything at all. It's even better now, because we don't have the distractions of going out socializing. The only distractions we've got are Netflix and things like that, which people might be wasting their time on.
Right.
And they need to be thinking about what they really want to do with their lives.
Right.
And so for me, it's more a mindset thing about, well, what can I do now? Get online, get searching for a skill that you can learn, so that when we come out of this, you're going to be ready to make that step into doing what you really want to do. And I just think people get a little bit stuck in their head, a little bit paralyzed, and they start procrastinating, and then they're messing around on TikTok or on making up accounts and binge watching on Netflix. And then they have a go when they feel a pressure from other people.
Right. And
then they kind of snap back at those people to say, well, it's wrong to say that we need to be doing stuff and moving towards that. And I actually agree with that. I think there's a fear stopping these people doing that and moving into things that are wasting their time and procrastinating. And the fear is normally a fear of failure. It could be a fear of what other people are going to think about what they're doing. And again, I think it's just something that you learn. It's a skill that you can build as well with your mindset, and becoming stronger, so you don't worry about what other people think. So I just think now's a time where if there's any kind of something, a skill that you need to work on, all you got to do is search around, because there's so many discounts that people are giving now. There's so many free courses out there anyway. You know, there's not really any excuse, even if you've got no money. I mean, I didn't have any money when I first started really doing a lot of self-development work. I just used to find all the free stuff basically, but there's lots of great content out there, from like amazing bloggers online, people with the YouTube channels. You can always find something. So for me, I feel it's people use it as a bit of an excuse that we're here now. But I think we're going to look back at this moment in months and years to come. Some people are going to really regret that they didn't use that moment and use that time wisely, because I think we're not going to get another chance like this. I think this is an unprecedented thing. But I also believe that in the coming months and years, especially for people who are like people who might be watching now, who are more conscious, maybe more empaths, light workers, now's our time. And so to sit back and stay hiding, because I know, being a light worker myself and somebody who wants to heal and help others, we tend to shut ourselves off. A lot of us are introverts as well. So we tend to shut ourselves off, and we're because what we do is alternative. We fear what other people think, and so we stay hidden. We've got lots of limiting beliefs about if we can turn it into a business and make money from it. And I see so many light workers giving the stuff away for free when they shouldn't be. But because they don't think they can do something with it. And so I want those people to know that this is your time. This is the time. You have to use this moment now, while we're stuck indoors, to go deep inwards, do the healing work if you need to. But if you've done that already, you need to start taking action. So make that first YouTube video that you've never done. Start recording stuff that you can give to people, to show what you're all about, but stop hiding, basically. Because I think the next decade, light workers are going to, I'm talking, psychics, healers, yogis, anyone into kind of vegan food, chefs, for example, vegan chefs, energy workers, coaches, anyone in the health and well-being section. This is going to be our time in the next few years, because we're going to see a lot of people waking up, and they're going to be thinking more about their health. They're going to want to spend more money on their health. And also, I'm thinking artists as well out there, more alternative artists. People are going to be looking for people who, for things that help their heart, you know, and that includes artwork and things like that.
And people are looking
So,
now.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to grow in the next 10 years, because we're going to see a massive shift. I really believe that. And now is the time to position yourself while we've got this time, and get in there as an early adopter ahead of everyone else, and make some moves towards that. And I know it's difficult, because I've been through all that. And as someone who does something a little bit different, a little bit more alternative, as a law of attraction coach, you have fears, you know, a lot of fears. Everyone has fears about kind of moving into self-employment. But I think for someone who does something a bit more alternative, that fear is that 10 times that.
Right.
Because you really fear the criticism of what other people are going to say.
You have to repeat that.
So again,
with self-employment, you really fear the criticism of what other people have to say. I feel like we just have to pause and slow that down, because I feel like that's one that people don't realize that they're actually fearing. That's what's holding them back, because they're worried about, what will people say about this thing that I'm trying to do?
Yeah. And it's a fear of failure as well. I think the two big things are fear of criticism and fear of failure. But you know, you never, it's better to try and not succeed than, you know, do nothing at all. Yeah. You don't want to be looking back on your life in 20, 30 years and thinking, oh, I remember that pandemic and I was indoors and I did nothing. And I had the opportunity there and I didn't take it. And I just went back to my 9 to 5 or whatever, the life that I had before, which I wasn't unhappy with, doing something I don't love every day. I missed the opportunity and it just got too busy after that. It went back to normal. Because that's what most people are going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to that.
Yeah.
And like, they're just going to be relieved because everything's back to normal.
Right.
I don't want it to go back to normal. I want things to change because the world needs to change. I think it's going to change for the better. It seems negative now, but there's opportunities here. And at the end of this, I think we're going to look back on this moment and realize that actually, you know, as long as you stay safe and you know, obviously it's different if you got ill and you know people who have suffered, then that's different. But that's a tiny percentage.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to talk about. Actually, we only have Tim D for 30 minutes, and we actually have my friend Nicole coming on after, and she's going to talk about relief, you know, and she's doing a relief fund for small businesses, you know, yoga studios that are taking a hit right now, because someone had this comment. Whenever I talk to friends, they're scared and I'm sad and surprised that they're surprised I'm so positive. It makes me feel guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry.
And then another one says, I've been dealing with guilt, finding peace during the pandemic. I feel for those who are physically and financially suffering. However, this me time is a time of positivity for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's difficult. I mean, everyone's struggling financially in some way. Nearly everyone is. But it's how you adapt to the situation. As I said before, you can go inwards and contract and get really kind of tight with everything and miserly and not give. You want to do the opposite of that. You actually want to give more.
Right.
And this is a time to open up and really, okay, how can I help people? What can I give? What value can I give to them? Because not only is that going to help these people, which is amazing, but strategically, when you come out of this, people are going to know that. They're going to have seen that. They're going to remember that. So that's only going to help you more. And you don't have to give in terms of money. It's given in terms of you don't have to charge people. You can kind of this is a good time actually to give stuff away for free. If you have things that can genuinely help people. So again, I just believe it's a mindset. I get it that people are anxious and they're feeling worried about the future. But what you have to understand is with the law of attraction, that's only bringing you more of that. And you have to come out of that mindset. It's okay to feel the fear. You can't wallow in it. You can't stay there.
Right.
And so it's up to you to shift out of that. I think the best way to shift is, how can I help other people? How can I start moving towards what I love? Once you do that, once you get into alignment, the universe will work with that and will bring you opportunities. But you can't see them now. That's all it is. But there's opportunities that are out there. Sometimes people focus on a narrow vision, and they can only see a small percentage of opportunity. When actually there's like 90% more out there that the universe can bring you. But you can't get it until you shift your vibration to get into alignment with something more positive. So, I've had it like a couple of days where I've been a bit panicky, but they don't spread longer than that. It's like a few hours and I'm like, I know what I need to do, and just switch my mindset, switch my vibration.
Right.
So it even happens with me, like a law of attraction coach, like just occasionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you've just got to shift out of it as quickly as you can.
I like that. I like the fact that you focus on what you can give, because I feel like at this time we can all share our gifts and talents. Every morning at 8 a.m. I'm doing breath work, meditation, and yoga and sound healing, and now dancing, for an hour every morning, Sunday to Sunday, and it brings me so much joy. And I never would have thought to do that had we not had this staycation time. And I feel like you're right. Everyone can look within and say, how can I use my gifts and talents to bless the world at this time? And if you pour in, the law of attraction is all about flow. So if you're pouring in now, even if you are only doing donations or doing it for free, you're practicing. People are getting to know who you are. And then when people do come upon their abundance, they will know where they want to invest their time and their money and their dollars. If in this time you're showing people your heart, you're showing people who you are, you're showing people what your mission is in the world, then they're going to know who they need to go to for your services. So I think this is a beautiful, beautiful time. So, well, thank you so much for joining us. I know you said the link in your bio, but is there any place? Should people just go to your Instagram to find everything out about you?
They go to Instagram, and all the links to all my resources are there. My website is the same as my name, timothyphoenix.com. So you can go on there, you can check out all the blogs and blogs that I've been doing for 2-3 years now. So there's a lot of good free content there about manifesting. And my YouTube channel is the same. It's Timothy Phoenix. If you type in Timothy Phoenix anywhere, you can get me.
All right.
So on YouTube and Instagram are the main places there, yeah.
YouTube and Instagram. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. You can stay on. I'm going to invite Nicole on next, and she's going to talk with us for the next half of our hour. But thank you so much so good to see you again. So good to connect with you. And I want to sign up for a hypnotherapy session with you. I'm excited to try that out. And thank you so much for sharing your love and sharing your resources. You guys, check out Timothy Phoenix all over the internet, all over social media, and show him some love.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right. Bye. See. I think you might have to exit before I can invite someone else, because I don't see the invite thing.
How do I exit? Just come out.
I don't know. There we go. Unless I can have more than one person on. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now we have Nicole, my girl Nicole Cardoza, coming on. And Nicole is going to talk about just right now, she has a relief fund that she set up for underserved people in the community who are struggling because of loss of work and loss of their studio time. So we're inviting Nicole on now. And I actually was typing, but it froze. Hey, lady.
Hi, how are you?
you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
So good to have you on.
Also, I really enjoyed that conversation, Timothy. So thank you for sharing all of your work.
Oh, he's so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We met in Thailand, and he has just been since again. He had just got that deal right after going through anxiety, and I was talking to him about anxiety and what he can do and all this, and he just poured into himself and put himself out there, and now he has his book out, and now he's a coach. So it just goes to show we can all go within to find out who we truly are and have that version of ourselves be very much valued.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So powerful.
So powerful. So I know you have a lot to share with the world because our podcast just came out today. So if you guys haven't checked it out, and you probably haven't because it just came out today, go to my website, koyawebb.com, or go to getlove.podcast. Go to getlove.podcast. It's the first one up there. My last podcast, we just put it out today, and check out Nicole's story. And on the podcast, we shared your story, but we also shared that you had been raising money for grants. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you pivoted during this time?
Sure. Yeah. So I run a company called Reclamation Ventures. Our goal is to make yoga and mindfulness and other forms of wellness more accessible by increasing representation in the space. And so that means bringing in more marginalized business owners, making sure that they can thrive, that they have the resources that they need, and that they can offer culturally responsive and relevant practices to their community. Mm-hmm. So we started with offering grants to entrepreneurs that were looking to grow their work in this space, maybe making meditation apps for people of color, or creating a yoga studio designed for people that have physical disabilities. And then coronavirus happened and things changed a lot. So we actually shifted our focus from, instead of investing in people that want to join this space, how can we invest in people that are already in this space that are really likely to leave? We know that coronavirus is impacting everybody in the wellness industry, but it's disproportionately affecting people that are systemically marginalized. And so for us, it's really important to make sure that those people first have what they need.
So powerful. And I think that's so important. I just tagged her. I'm going to be putting also her link in my bio. I just donated to the relief fund. I highly suggest, if you do have any extra coins that you want to circulate for people in need, definitely our holistic health coaches. A lot of times we are giving away a lot of classes and lives and virtuals for free. So if you do want to give back in any way, I definitely highly recommend Reclamation Ventures to share some of that investment.
Yeah, thank you so much. What we're doing is we're taking all of that funding and giving it directly to entrepreneurs in grants of $2,500 or less. So what we're aiming to do, we're asking everybody to apply and tell us how much money they think that they've lost during the month of March because of everything that's happening. And then we just want to pay that forward. So it's a pretty fast turnaround. As soon as we get money in our account, we send it right back out. We've raised almost $200,000 so far. And so we're excited about the change that we can make. And if you're listening, just for the details, you can also apply reclamationventures.co or Reclamation Ventures on Instagram, or you can find my Instagram. It's out there. Yeah. You can definitely apply, and it's for US-based entrepreneurs.
Right. Awesome. That's so great. So yeah, if you are right now, you're like, I'm struggling, I can't pay my rent. Like, I've already shared a couple of resources, like, make sure you talk to your landlord because they have a no eviction policy, like, worldwide here. So don't be shy to say, and you can still pay it later. So you're still putting energy out there. But if you can't put food in the fridge, you don't want to pay rent. You want to make sure that you can eat. So making sure you can eat, making sure you're signing up for things. We also put this in the blog, the PPP and other loans out there for small businesses. And then also applying for Reclamation Ventures as a wellness owner. And she is like, really, like, it's not like we don't know when it's going to come, She's really turning the money around really fast. That's why I was like so excited when she just came through my consciousness. Our podcast was coming out, and for some reason I was just like, call her, and we called, and I was like, oh my goodness, we have Timothy for 30 minutes. We should have you on and talk about this. So this just happened like really serendipitously, and almost just like Timothy was saying, it manifested. Like it was in divine alignment. And
Mhm.
I had thought about you like a week back when I was talking to our friend Elena. And so you were in my spirit, right? You were in my soul, my consciousness. And then this was the second, spirit speaks to you and it just gets louder and louder and louder until you're like,
Yep.
oh, okay. You
Yep.
wake up, right? And then it came today with the podcast and I was like, okay. And that's the thing I'm learning. Pick
Yeah.
up the phone and call people.
Yeah.
When you feel that in your soul inside that says like reach out or check on someone or someone names pops up, this is the perfect time. We're quieter, so you
Yep.
guys don't take those little hints for granted because it's spirit speaking to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's rare. It's rare, I think, for me at least, to have this stillness to be able to listen and respond. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know we were also talking about, can you share the website, please?
Yep. So it's reclamationventures.co. Do you want me to type it in?
Yeah, you can type it in.
Reclamationventures.co. It's Reclamation Ventures on Instagram, so you can go find it there. And you can be sure to read all of the details about, how to apply and who is eligible for it. You'll also see on there, if you go to reclamationventures.co and click on, I think, Relief Fund in the top, it'll show you everything that we're talking about.
I'm going to type it in too, just so I could pin it.
Cool.
I'm going to get better with these things.
I know, it's kind of tricky. So
I'm just learning to do the
Yeah.
titles so when people come in the room, they know like what we're
Yeah.
talking about. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I think I spelled that right.
Yep.
And then pinned it because I just copied yours.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can go to reclamationventures.co
Yeah.
to apply, to give. It's through GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And, so what are you doing personally at this time? Because I know as, a person like running this company to give to so many, that you also have to make sure that, you're taking care of your health.
Yeah. So I'm not doing as good of a job as I should. So I need to name that first.
Yeah.
I've tried to carve out time every day where I just sit without technology because I'm doing a lot of this, a lot of FaceTime calls, a lot of Instagram lives, and I feel like I'm always looking at a screen. So every day I try to plan something. Today I'm taking a bath, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
That is waiting for me at 9:00 tonight. I'm practicing every day. I've been journaling every day. So that's been really helpful. But even with all of this, like I've realized I still need to step up my self-care practices because I think these are just unprecedented times. And in some ways, my body, I don't think is ever going to become accustomed to this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It really does. And I like that you said step it up because I feel the same. I feel like the more self-care I practice, the better that I feel. And I didn't even know, like I'm more in alignment than I've ever been. I'm pouring into myself, my family, and my community more than I ever have. And I still have a lot of energy, but it's because I'm sleeping 6 to 8 hours a night. I'm not driving around to all these events and all these things I have to do, right?
Yep.
Even though I cut back a lot, I realized, sis, you need to rarely be on the road.
Yeah.
You need to not travel every single month. Maybe so this is actually teaching me what I need to do to be my best self. And that bathtub, I usually cook with my friend. And today I thought about today I need a day off where I just eat really light. And like you said, just soak in the tub.
Yeah. And I hear you on that. I travel a lot and that's been cut out, which also means I've been eating really poorly, always on the road. And so I've been cooking every meal, which has brought me a lot of joy. So I hear you. I'm realizing I'm shedding a lot of the things I thought that I needed in my life and realizing what's the most important right now.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So beautiful. I had an anxiety attack the other day and had to call an ambulance. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Have you tried tapping? EFT, there's a lot of free classes on the tapping solution. Also breath work to remove some of the fear, remove some of the trauma. I did have a couple of days where I was feeling anxiety. Some things happened online. just negative. And I had a day where I was just like in a dark space. I did tapping, I did meditation, I did breath work, I did journaling, I did yoga, I did everything I can possibly think of to get myself in a healthy space. And it didn't go away in hours. It took me a whole day to get back to a healthy state. And so thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for sharing that. And let's just acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the trauma, because a lot of it's going to be coming up now that we're quiet. A lot of trauma might start bubbling up, but this is our chance to take all these tools to start to heal those traumas, because only from healing those traumas can we be our best self.
Right. Absolutely. And we're going to need it because, on the other side of this, the world is ripe for disruption. And I feel like it's important for us to show up as our strongest selves when it's time to be making those changes. I mean, those changes are already happening. But we have more and more capacity to create the world that we want to be living in moving forward. So this is the time to get rested, to get grounded, to get centered.
Yes. And what I'm doing on all of my lives, if you DM me, direct message me your full name and your email address, I am sending out digital copies of my book, Let Your Fears Make You Fierce: How to Turn Common Obstacles into Seeds for Growth. And also, Nicole, for all your people, I want to send them copies too. So if you give me a list of names, that's my gift. I'm doing my lives every morning because it is about that self-work.
Yeah.
This is the best time for it. And this is the best thing we can use. Like Timothy was saying, not necessarily Netflix and chilling the whole day, But I feel like when we reflect, we can come out stronger. We can build our companies. We can build our businesses. We can pivot in the way we need to, that we probably didn't even know we needed, and be like, wow, that's even better. Because a lot of people that were working a 9-to-5 was like, I don't like my job. I don't want to be doing this. Now you have an opportunity to look within and decide, what is it that you want to do?
Yep, absolutely. And be quiet and still, like we said before, to have the spirit speak to you and recommend things that you might not have heard or have been fully listening to.
Yes, that's why I became a healer and came out of the entertainment business. Congratulations. That's the story of my dear friend Tracy Stanley as well. She was in entertainment, and now she is one of the top yoga nidra teachers in the world. And I just think, and so many other people I've had on the podcast that have just decided, I want to do something different. And even you as a yoga teacher, but deciding you want to support other companies in their growth and evolution and other underserved communities, which is so important, because a lot of people aren't thinking about that. There are a lot of people, as someone mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people who don't feel calm. They can't just sit in their house because they're thinking and they're stressed out about how they're going to pay their bills, how are they going to feed their children, or their health is compromised, and they're thinking, well, how am I going to get healthy? And do I have this ROV? And if I do, can I even go to the hospital and trust them?
Right.
So there's a lot of people that are not just able to just like be calm right now. And that's why I think these health resources are important.
Yeah, necessary. They're necessary because it gives us the capacity to choose how we want to respond. And we can't always, like you said, we can't rely all the time on the system to take care of all of us.
Right. Especially a system where, it's full of different injustices and things that where, we're not taken care of, especially when it comes to marginalized communities and people of color. Like, when I've listened to a couple of podcasts and a couple of TV shows that's saying the rate of death for African Americans is up to 50%.
Yeah.
From this epidemic. I don't want to say the virus, so I always say ROV. So it's scary. And when I think about it, I get emotional. That makes me emotional. It makes me think of, am I doing enough? Is there more I could be doing? And that's why I want to have people like yourself on, and also be talking ways that we can really build our health at this time. That was not just for this time, because anytime anything hits, it's going to hit those underserved communities that much harder, because they're not prepared with the cushion. There's no cushion, there's no savings, and then the health was already not so great in the first place, so it's going to hit underserved communities a lot deeper. So I really want to focus on the health and also the business building, because I knew after a while that I wouldn't be able to be healthy and have this healthy lifestyle that I wanted to working for someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I realized that unless I'm with people who value me, or unless I create my own company, that it's going to be very hard for me.
Yeah.
And I found that out. And once I focused on, like Timothy, it's focused on my gifts and talents and what I wanted to pour into the world. And I kept breathing into that. And here I am. And I feel like you had the same with your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know I can rely on myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we've seen so many times as Black women, how often the system tends to overlook us and not be there for us, no matter how talented or capable that we are. And so I do think a lot of shifting, somebody mentioned before, this is similar to the housing crisis. I agree. I feel like this is a health crisis of our time. And I think that shifting this health crisis in the future is by giving marginalized communities more access and opportunity to manage their own health, right? And that comes from having leaders like us feel safe and sustainable and independent, that can hold spaces and offer resources that are relevant for us.
Right. Someone just asked, how am I going to be good as a yoga teacher? And like Nicole just mentioned, she has reclamationventures.co, which I pinned here. So go there, apply for a loan. And also think about, as Timothy was saying, like, think about a couple of things that you're also good at. I know I'm doing a lot of business building with natural companies, with essential oils, with vegan skincare companies, because not only do we have to buy these products anyway, they don't need to be toxic. And also we need to focus on, are we getting commission from all this stuff, all the beauty that we're sharing? If you're into fashion, or if you're a yoga teacher, you're in essential oils, are you getting a percentage of what you're sharing and putting out there for free? And you should be.
Yeah.
My philosophy is you should be. And so that's what I'm creating. I have virtual parties from Monday through Friday, and I'm virtually on the phone, free classes, free information, giving away digital copies of my book for free. I don't think I can do anything more other than that. And it's only until May 1st. May 1st, I'm going to pour all my love into my yoga teacher training, where if you want to be a holistic health coach or yoga teacher, and this is what you want to pour into, I'm going to pour into you all the knowledge that I have in my brain. And business-wise as well. And I'll be focused on that. But for now, I'm giving to my entire community. So I would definitely hit up some of those offers, hit up some of the offers Nicole has. Like, she's pouring her heart and soul, quick turnaround, way quicker than the government, giving you funds for right now for the month. So like, if you check and see if you apply, because now is the time. And I was listening to this one podcast, and they said, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to sit and wait until it's too late, until these opportunities, and then they're going to be like, oh, I need to do this.
Right.
And then it's going to be a lot harder than if you now say, okay, I got to get in gear. Let me pour in. Let me reach out for these loans. Let me write for these grants. There's a lot of grants out there. There's a lot of loans out there. I've applied for a loan. There's no shame in the game. Okay. I got people that I'm helping feed too. So no matter where you're at on your journey, even if you think, oh, I'm good for 3 months, we don't know if this is going to last for 3 months or until December. We don't know. If some people like, oh, it might be done in December, but no one knows. And even if it was done next week, we're still in a recession, y'all. So economics is that you want to plan now for the entire next year. And so I'll dive deeper. We have about like 10 more minutes. I'm giving Nicole some talk times, and I want to let you guys ask some more questions. But make sure that you're clicking the link in my bio, click the links in Nicole's bio, go to our website and educate yourself. What's available to you, and then start thinking about, how do you want to use your gifts and talents to serve the world? And then start thinking about, how do you want to stack your coin? And I'm hoping you put that on natural businesses, natural products, and start coming health-wise, because the only reason that disparities are hitting underserved communities so hard is because our baseline is not a healthy baseline overall.
Yeah. And I want to call out, somebody asked a question, how did you keep going when you decided to work for yourself and trust you will be financially secure? I would also ask, how do you keep going for yourself when you decide to work for somebody else and trust that you will be financially secure? Because if you look at what's happening right now, there's a lot of people that are out of work because of small businesses or other businesses that just can't pay people. So I think there's a mindset shift that we need to start with. It's like, why do we rely on systems that are built around systemic oppression for our liberation? First and foremost.
I just love the way you flip that around because I have 10 employees and I ain't let nobody go yet. And I'm funding that myself.
Yeah.
It's a difference. It's a difference. It's a
start
huge
there.
difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So start there. And then if you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. And this is the time to start trying. It doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen right away. But now is the time to be starting to figure out what financial security can look like for yourself outside of the larger system.
Yeah. Yep. And you have to have faith either way. But your question is, do you have faith in someone else or do you have faith in yourself?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we put faith outside of us. We put faith in the government. We put faith in all these people. But really, it comes back to us. And it's scary to have faith in yourself because, like Timothy said, there's fear of failure.
Yeah.
But when we put our faith outside of us, there's still fear of failure. We just don't want to say it was our fault. We want to say, like, oh, that person, because that thing messed up and the government messed up and like outside of herself. But it's hard for us to take responsibility and say, you know what? I gave 100%, but I rarely heard someone say I gave 110% and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
I've rarely heard this.
Me too. And look, it happens. And then what will probably end up happening is that you go back to exactly where you are now.
Yes.
Right.
And then I always say you can't fail unless you start trying. Things don't happen overnight. I remember when I first started my journey, it took me a long time to figure out what it was exactly. I did massage. I sold raw vegan food out of my house. I modeled for a little while. I did all kinds of stuff. And if you look at most successful people in the world, they do many things. They really follow what brings them joy. Because at the end of the day, your success isn't based on things or material possession. It's, are you happy? And because I've went to so many countries and seen real happiness, I can tell you that if you do what you enjoy and you start to say, okay, well, what do I enjoy? What do I want to pour into? You will align with where you need to be abundance wise, because it's the law of attraction. It's the law of energy. It was what you're going to get out what you put in. So what we're telling you is put in right now, put into yourself, pour into yourself, pour into your community, pour in, and then allow the universe to pour into you.
Absolutely. Yes.
I like this. I'd rather much be relying on myself as a self-employed person in this lockdown than a company. I have to control company 100% myself. Thank you, Timothy. Timothy's still in the comments, throwing down the nuggets. Thank you. So true.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
true.
And I know it can be discouraging, and I know it's easy to fall off when you don't see results right away. But I think sometimes we look at like negative financial results as a loss, but the learnings that we get from every time something doesn't work is almost more valuable than the money. That's like an investment, right? You get a transaction, that's a one-time thing, but the learnings that you get is an investment that adds up over time. It'll help you be faster, smarter, quicker. So make sure that you're getting those learnings and not looking at your failures like some kind of loss, but a gain.
Absolutely. I love the way you put that, because once you learned, you can apply that to the next time. And I've definitely lost contracts. I've definitely had people decrease, but it's like, okay, well, what do I love? What have I been looking at already? Where's my and go within. And I don't even do it from here. I don't, like Timothy said, it's not from my mind, it's from my heart. Where's my heart? Pouring into my community. Where is my heart? Building myself and others. Where is my heart? Healing humanity. And if I just keep putting my energy in those places, guess what? That's abundance. That's abundance. But if I sit at home like, oh my God, I can't believe that this contract canceled me. I can't believe I lost this much money. I can't. Guess what? My vibration goes zzz. But now that I'm like, let me pour into my community. Let me pour into health. Let me pour. My energy's like, people are like, how's your energy so high? Because I'm pouring. Because I believe in myself and I believe in humanity. And you have to have faith in humanity, because right now humanity is hurting, and right now humanity has enough fear. It's enough people on the fear ship. And we can have fear, and we can acknowledge the fear, and we can acknowledge sadness, and we can acknowledge anger. We just can't stay there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see. It seems a lot as if wellness business and companies are popping up. How can you remain and be relevant? Good question.
That's a great question. I think that there's a lot of people popping up that aren't offering unique values and services. So kind of think about it as like an ocean. When there's a lot of drops and there's a lot of like actual water, it makes it easier for bigger things to float to the top. So if you think about it that way, just like look at what's happening around you, learn from as many people that are entering the market, and find your place that's uniquely yours and your story. And it comes from the heart, just like you said before, and nobody else has a heart like yours.